What's going on, Sports Social Live family? I'm Lance Hayes with Sports Social Live, and today's episode we'll discuss the Texans versus Bengals upcoming game. We'll discuss some storylines, the Texans injury report, some team stats, and initial outlook for Week 10. All that and more on Sports Social Live. Subscribe, like, share. What's going on, everybody? I'm Lance Hayes with Sports Social Live, and in this episode, we will discuss the Texans versus Bengals Week 10 game at Paycor Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm excited for this game. Both teams are on an uprise and have spark and momentum going into Week 10. Both CJ Stroud and Joe Burrow are finding the swing of things. Both teams have phenomenal young receivers that are balling out of control. Both teams have coaching staffs who have changed the mentality for each team. Both teams are in the playoff hunt. For the Texans, it's a small peat, but for Cincinnati Bengals, they do pose a threat for the playoffs, and they have a chance to make the playoffs. So I love that we have a phenomenal matchup. As a football fan, you should be watching this matchup to see how these young QBs, Ohio products, go far in the game and how well they do. This is a great matchup as a fan. So I'm excited to see I'm excited to see the results of this game. It's going to be a high-flying game. I hope they don't flex the game into a prime time, because I don't want the Texans to get shocked. It seems like every time the Texans play a primetime game, we ultimately don't do well. So I hope we just stay in a normal time frame, keep the swing of things, keep the schedule right, and we hopefully, as a Texan fans, I want the Texans to do well. But I don't want to be fanning out right now. This is just my Week 10 initial outlook. Hopefully we can press forward and get something going. As I mentioned before, there are multiple time storylines on this game. This game has the Stroud effect. Stroud coming off a phenomenal week. He has shown glimpses of greatness, a veteran quarterback without being a veteran. He is a rookie. 1 interception on the year. A record-setting game. He's a last-minute drive. What more can you want from CJ Stroud? So national media attention is on him. Every outlet who is a sports outlet has covered him this week, and I'm excited to see it going forward. You have the Burrow effect. Burrow's a phenomenal quarterback. He is young, captivating, polarizing, leading this team, coming off an injury, improving, came off a good Bills win. So you have the Stroud-Burrow effect, which leads into the Ohio effect, I'll call it. That is a great storyline in itself. Both these guys doing phenomenal things in the state of Ohio. So the stadium will be rocking, and nothing but true football fanship will be shown in this game. You also have an effect of injury storyline, just injuries ridden teams in key positions. I'm excited to see how these teams get over the adversity of injuries. For the Texans, you have a kicker out, safeties out, multiple safeties out, receivers out. For Cincinnati, you have linemen, I think, and Jamar Chase. That's huge for them. They changed the whole outlook of their schemes. Are they going to rely on their number 2 and 3 receivers, which they can? They're phenomenal, but that's a storyline that we have to follow throughout the week, and I'm excited to see how this plays out. The Wednesday injury reports for both teams are going to be kind of crazy, and to see how they manage those veteran days off, those Thursday and Friday reports, to see who's kind of finally playing. That will play a lot into your betting odds and lines, so keep track of that as we go forward throughout the week. I'm excited for this game. This is a matchup for all true sports fans. Excuse me. Going into the week, the Texans injury report still has Fairbairn, Ward, Stewart, Mechie on it, and we're trying to take care of that. One of the things that is kind of key is that the Texans were quick to act here, right? They listed MJ Stewart on injury reserve. They're still trying to find out more about Fairbairn, and they are working on Ward. But what they did do was go out and get two safeties. They signed Graylin Arnold to the. They signed the following player: Graylin Arnold, 5'10", 187-pound safety from Baylor. They also signed Matt Amendola, a kicker out of Oklahoma State, and Brady Breeze, another safety, to the practice squad. Both these guys are 26 years old and have 2 years of NFL experience. So we're getting some young guys in to kind of fill the holes that we have as Texans. So tell me your thought about these signings. Tell me your thoughts on how we'll be able to fill these gaps with Fairbairn, Ward, Mitchie, and Stewart out. How we'll be able to fill these gaps. I'm excited to see, as a Texan fan, what happens and how D'Amico's able to kind of conquer this diversity. How are we gonna special teams? How are we gonna operate? Does Dare go out there, and is he able to kick another field goal? Only time will tell. And just a quick talk about the stats for the game for the upcoming week. I mean, the CJ Stroud stats are phenomenal. He's number 7 in number 7 in the category, number 1 in the category. So you can look those up. Those stats are everywhere. But one of the things to notice, and I thought that we should kind of mention, is that Cincinnati does have a weakness in their run defense. Their run defense has a weakness, but that does not help us as Texans fans because we do not have a great running offense. I mean, are we going to run it with Devin Singletary? Does Damian Pierce come back and help us out? I don't know how we can do it, but I don't mind having a shootout if we could put our offense, our QB against their QB, and let's see how these Ohio products go out. I am going to save that team stats for a little bit later on in the week, but I'll continue to go and discuss my initial takes, my initial outlooks. But before I do, comment down in the section and let me know some crazy stats that you've seen. You know, you have the Pro Football Focus, the Next Gen stats from NFL. Let me know some crazy stats that you've seen. I saw a Will Anderson stat about distance to the QB. I've seen multiple stats out there. So let me know some stats that you like. My last take that I have today is the initial outlook. My initial outlook of this game is that it is tough for the Houston Texans. It will be a tough one. Cincinnati kind of has a small edge to me. It's hard to say for me as a Texas fan because I am a Texas fan, but Cincinnati has an edge. They have an upswing. They're a little bit more of a complete team. I want to see how the Texans handle the media circus that is brought upon from that last-minute drive with CJ out in the media. How are we going to handle that? How is our offense going to kind of bounce back? And how do we handle injuries? I think the Bengals are more complete as it stands today. But that's not to say that the Texans offense and the Texans defense can't capitalize as long as hopefully we get Ward back or we get some semblance of a good DB core. And then we need to see that front seven, preferably Will Anderson and crew on the line, turn it up a notch. Get Joe Burrow moving off the mark, and hopefully we can help out our DBs in the back end. But as for now, I see Cincinnati having a slight edge on the Texans. But we are Texans. Hopefully they are able to figure out a good game plan, slow them down, and come out with the win. Maybe we get Matt Amendola to kick a game-winning field goal or bring back Dare out. But hopefully we can get a win. Tell me how you think the game's going to play out, this initial outlook. Tell me what betting odds you're going to bet down in the comments below. I'm Lance Hayes, Sports Social Live. This was our Texans initial outlook. We discussed the game between the Texans and the Bengals. We discussed some storylines, went through the Texas injury report, glimpsed over some team stats. I didn't go too deep into that. I'll go into that next week. And I told you my initial week outlook. Let me know how you think about each topic down below. I'm Lance Hayes, Sports Social Live. Subscribe, like, share. On to the next one.